Working 50 years till I croak is sounding foreign to me, like a menage is to most. I'm trying to earn passive income while I child's pose, stacking different colored banknotes, xylophone. I've been broke, out there walking on that tightrope. PT Barnum, now I'm trying to run the whole show, and I don't stress about the present or the future. I just see the bigger picture. I finger roll my crystal ball, I treat it like a swisher, like I'm wearing khakis when I piss. I don't miss. Every honey in New York knows my number like I'm Stitch 626. I'm a myth. Even Odin talks about me to his kids. I've been blessed, but y'all knew that since y'all copied off my tasks. The same friends look to me to make profit, but dog, I ain't Sarah McLachlan. I see your feet on that ottoman. Honest to God, you are toxic as hell. I just show, I don't tell, like a pastor who ought to be in jail.
All right, so a couple of things. Number one, it's not my dream, not my plan, not my reality to try to make it as a famous rapper. Not gonna happen anytime soon. There are a couple different great arguments as to why, but we can use this man right here as a good reference point.
With the mixed dashboard, triple digits. With the mixed dashboard, triple digits. Cornrow Kenny. So many plays on me, I finesse Palisade views with some sex. I lost a lot of love for missionary. This the first time I react. Me and Top is like a Kobe and Phil. A father figure, play with him, you get killed. Play with me and he'll kill you himself. TDE, the mafia of the West. Moving silence, yeah, we jugging like that. Active violence, yeah, we jugging like that. I did a lot of dumb things in my past. Lord forgive me, hoping I don't relapse. Dame just bought a new 911. Almost thought I seen another plane crash. You just bought a brand new McLaren. Rock a lock about the battle projects. Who's you got his son dripping in gold? Me, I'm about to let my hair down no hoes. Ali about to let his hair down no hoes. Top billing, that's $1 million to show. Might blow the whole no whammy your soul. Might tell Obama be all like punch. Sound where he got a Grammy this year. Back pop, Benny do what he want. Level 2, no, I'm not done. You ain't gotta tell me that I'm the one. I can put a rapper on life support. Guarantee something that none of you want. 10 homies down and they y'all serving life. What is like 2500 a month? What if I empty my bank out of stunts? What if I empty my bank out of stunts? You ain't gotta tell me that I'm the one. You ain't gotta tell me that I'm the one. You ain't gotta tell me that I'm the one. You ain't got tell me that I'm the one. You ain't got tell me the one, I'm the one. Yes, I'm the one.
Yeah, so Kendrick Lamar is simultaneously one of the most inspiring and discouraging artists of all time. This man kills dreams at the gate. You either see that and go, never mind, or I got next. But I honestly think that most people are better off kicking rocks. However, y'all really can't tell me nothing except attaboy Duke when it comes to these bars. These bars right here, I come equipped. Brop, 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 brop when it comes to my lines. Put whatever bias aside you may have, my wit knows no limits. I'm such a great conversationalist. On dinner dates, I don't even gotta pay. I don't even carry cash in my wallet. I just fill it with Trojans. Brop, 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 brop. Big shout out to God and my mom for the gift. I'm not even trying to be arrogant. I'm just genuinely grateful. Now, it would be very ideal if I could figure out how to monetize these lines to some extent. And my dream scenario would be to make my rounds across the city, visiting studio to studio, and I would drop off my bars with these Cold War espionage envelopes, and I would pick up duffel bags of cash. But unfortunately, with the way that the future of work is trending, this fantasy does not seem very likely. But the good news is the future of creative work is absolutely exciting. It looks phenomenal, and my fantasy kind of sucks in comparison. And the reason why this future is so exciting is because of these buzzwords that you probably heard before. Crypto, blockchain, and smart contracts. There are a bunch of amazing technologies wrapped under these fields, and they're enabling unprecedented ownership of intellectual property. With these technologies, creators can unequivocally own their ideas outright and benefit directly every time their ideas are put into action. What I'm saying is that crypto and blockchain technology makes it much easier for creatives to own their ideas and for them to get paid appropriately for the work that they do. When you hear blockchain and crypto, just think the death of middlemen. These technologies bridge creators to consumers with the least amount of people in between. And there are infinite applications and implementations of these technologies. Many of them have yet to be implemented. We are still early, but I'd love to emphasize why these technologies are so important with a couple of examples. The first thing we should do is probably emphasize why it's so important for creatives to get complete ownership of their ideas. At this point, typically, credit and compensation for creative and intellectual work is decided by institutions. So we think big companies, investors, people with money and power. And most tragically, these people with money and power are also the same people who have a knack for stealing ideas and not paying an appropriate amount for creative and intellectual work because they simply have the power to do so. So for the longest time, creatives have been at the complete mercy of these people and have been taking really bad deals because they don't have the distribution, the money, the power, the influence, the scale to be able to launch on their own. So they always are at the point of capturing a very small fraction of the influence and impact that they generate with their ideas, whether it's an invention, whether it's an amazing rap song. So let's say you work at a company, you're a coder, and you come up with a piece of code that makes everything 10x better. You were hired to do that pretty much. Now, unfortunately, you don't own that. The company owns that, unless for some reason they decide to give Dobby his sock. But that never happens because in the contract that you sign when you join the company, they explicitly state that you don't own anything that you produce for the company. Everything that you make for the company is owned by the company. If you go on Slack and you make a funny meme, guess what? The company owns that. Tough titties, right? So the reason why blockchain tech is this oh my god hallelujah innovation is because they take away the deciding power of authority, tyrants, and assholes. Blockchain networks are powered by thousands of computers that verify all the actions and interactions of the network. They are the source of truth. They're able to prove who did what and when, and they're not influenced by arbitrary emotions and human tendencies to screw other people over. So that can mean if I publish a creative work on this network, I will have 10,000 computers or so enforcing that ownership. They'll be able to say, Duke published this song at this time, and he owns it. If for some reason there's some guy named Billy out there who makes the claim that he owns that song, and he has a couple computers out there making that claim for him, I have 10,000 computers behind me saying, nah, Billy, you're full of it. No one can take away this ownership from me. Everybody knows what's what. Because these computers are unbiased and the records that they verify are unchangeable, I can declare with certainty that I am the owner of this record until I decide to transfer ownership. And I can transfer ownership on the network, and the computers will be able to track that as well. And these computers are able to track every time someone interacts with my song. Because I wrote the song, I'm entitled to a certain amount of earnings. So if Sarah out there in Arkansas is listening to my song, the computers in the blockchain network will be able to register that, track that, and be able to say that Duke is entitled to a proportionate amount of earnings based on how much of the song he owns. The TLDR is that these machines kill grifters. But a very important question to ask is, how do I make sure that no one messes with my money? How do I make sure that I get my earnings in a timely and ideally automatic fashion? A huge reason why blockchains are an incredible piece of technology is because they are powered by these amazing things called smart contracts. A very, very intelligent person describes smart contracts with the example of a vending machine. Smart contracts are programs that run automatically if certain conditions are met. So basically, every smart contract at its root operates under this logic. If this happens, which is step one, if step one happens, then that happens. Result one happens. So smart contracts run if step one happens, and then they will make the result one happen. So for example, if we looked at the betting machine, if you put in $1 and you press pound C5, then you will get a bag of Sun Chips. If Emily listens to my song, then I get 0.2 cents directly in my digital wallet. There are a couple different steps in between those 2 points, but that's the general gist of the interaction powered by smart contracts. So it's not up to Spotify or Apple to decide when to pay me, how much to pay me, or anything like that, which is great because these centralized authorities take cuts of my earnings as an artist. Because smart contracts are programs that run automatically when certain conditions are met, we remove the need to rely on people to implement and execute tasks. We don't have to wait on people to pay us, for example, which is great because we remove the potential for people to act recklessly or cruelly when it comes to our money or any other aspect of our ownership. Now, I'm not an authority or anything when it comes to blockchain, crypto, or smart contracts. I'm just a student that's very excited about where everything's going. So here's what I think will happen more often in the future of work based on these technologies. So number one, we're going to see increasing opportunities for great talent across the world to have a seat at the table. Anyone will be able to access interesting problems that they are equipped to solve, and we're able to allow these people to work on them in very specific ways. So for example, if you want to work in tech, you have to join an exciting tech company in a given city in the United States, most likely, and work with people primarily of the same background, nationality, and other commonalities. You can make the argument that bubbles like these are stifling and they don't encourage the fullest capacity of collaboration and action. But more importantly, these bubbles have boundaries that are difficult for most people to enter, and therefore they can't participate in these exciting projects. There's a great quote that acknowledges that the next Einsteins, the next generational geniuses, often live in obscurity and die before they're able to actualize. A lot of people don't have the luck and resources to end up in Silicon Valley and work in this amazing tech startup, but an increasing amount of people have access to internet connections. And through this technology, we can open up work opportunities to a lot of different people who just have the creativity, the intelligence, the dedication, and the internet to work on them. So blockchain technology allows people to work and collaborate all across the world beyond the confines of an American corporation tied to a given physical space. And there are a number of different ways that this could play out. I'm not saying that this is the most effective way, but this is an illustrative example. Let's say we want to use blockchain to power the first decentralized ad agency. This is an ad agency where ideas can come from all over the world, and it's the closest thing to a meritocracy that this industry has ever seen. It could have 8 contributors on a project or 800 contributors on a project. So a beer company wants to hire the best team to come up with a campaign idea for their new hazy IPA. The assignment is broadcasted to the entire world, and 5 people come up with project ideas. They come up with the data and strategy to defend why their approach is the best. And then each designer of the brief also proposes a budget allocation, how the money will be distributed across all the contributors. And the best budget allocations will incentivize the best talent. Creatives of all kinds, copywriters, art directors, videographers, photographers, etc., come together. They choose the brief that they find most interesting and also backed by the budget allocation that they deem most fair. We could theoretically have 100 copywriters working together on one of the 5 assignments. The computers are recording every instance of work, every edit, every word introduced, every comment and note. So you can clearly measure contribution and what is implemented in the final result. You can then compensate based on that input. Number 2, fair and competitive compensation that is directly proportionate to the impact of the contribution that each person made. Let's use ghostwriting rap as an example. If I want to be a ghostwriter for a great rapper, I don't even know if that's a possible career path. Is that even possible? I don't know. But let's say that is possible, right? They're going to probably pay me by the hour or pay me by the song or the verse or something weird. And then they're going to give me this horrible contract. And I know that however they do want to pay me in this scenario, I will get paid way less than I'm worth. I mean, it's the music industry. Come on. So I definitely won't have any ownership in these songs. No royalties whatsoever. I need to sign a blood oath with 40 different people to make sure that I would never divulge that I'm actually ghostwriting lines for someone, because that would absolutely assassinate a rapper's credibility. So let's say I come up with the most quoted line of all time, right? Every Instagram caption uses my line. It's the meme of the century, and I got paid an hourly rate for that line. Better yet, I can't even claim that I'm the author of that line. The rapper wrote that line. I signed an agreement that says, if you ever tell anybody that you wrote any of these songs, then we will take everything that you own. Thankfully, blockchain tech can appropriately value the impact of my work, because the computers in the network are able to verify every single contribution to the song. So we're able to clearly see who came up with the lines that everybody likes. So let's say we have a crypto-powered genius.com app. It shows the lyrics of every song published and distributed on blockchain-powered music apps. It also lists the work history and authors of every lyric. In this scenario, my mom and I collaborated on a banger, and we each have pseudonyms, which are crypto usernames. And my mom's initials are ELF, which is quite fitting because she is a rap craftsman. So that's going to be her pseudonym. And for my pseudonym, I want it to reflect the work that I produce. So not only do I produce lines that are hard or tough, but they also provide a certain level of sustenance. I want you to recognize that my lines are a vehicle for personal, mental, physical, and spiritual growth. So my pseudonym would be Tough Titties. And as you can see, Tough Titties wrote all these lines. The app can track the number of times these lines were searched, highlighted, favorited, and shared across different blockchain-powered apps. We can very clearly see how much of a digital footprint my words had. So then I can quantify this impact with a score, and there could be a leaderboard of all music writers according to genre. The higher the score, the higher my rate as a writer can be. And I can get a very accurate market rate for my work because I can very clearly define what my impact is and what my track record has been. We can even search for writers that rhyme with specific words. So let's say we want a writer that can rhyme about football. We can type in football and see all the rhymes writers had about football and then filter based on score. So that means we can find the best writers that are best equipped to talk about specific subjects. I can't write anything about football, so I'm not going to be your guy even if my leaderboard score is crazy high about other things. So we are going to be participating in a workforce where creativity is increasingly valued and is sourced from all over the world. You don't have to be condemned to a career where you're limited to solving the same problems every single day until you die. You can work on a variety of different projects and problems as your insights change, as your experience develops, and as you learn and grow as a human being, which is amazing. It's a truly exciting space to follow. I think it's really, really amazing stuff. It's not going anywhere. It's only going to get bigger. And I'm going to include some resources for you to dig around a little bit. Hopefully this sets you off on a nice little rabbit hole, but at the very least, I'm hoping that this can be enough context for us to chat a little bit more about all the cool stuff that's going on. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you can take anything from this video, please know that this is a formal challenge to anyone that has the gall to rap battle me. I'm waiting for you. I'm ready for you. Bring me your best. Or if you want to talk about crypto stuff, that's also cool. If you want to talk about music, I'm game. But anyway, thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.